Greetings. I'm Field Messenger Kisha-Beth reporting for United Network News from a village in Northamptonshire where an event has been organised in the village hall and there's a lot of excitement about it. A well-known woman from Ireland called Delores Cahill is giving a talk.
So like in Ireland 200 years ago, the farmers like Avonmore and Kerrygold butter and all that was just literally 100 years ago. Farmers got together and they decided to. And when I was even looking at what was happening in Tipperary with Mark Sharper Loam, and even since, there's all these farmers are complaining that the big supermarkets are only giving them 10% profit or whatever, and milk and everything. And I used to think, why don't they just get together and make a co-op, and then all of them within a county or shire or whatever just sell to their co-op, and then they are directly, right? So the model that Chris Coverdale has is the cooperative model, and then he has all the paperwork and he's made it available. But a lot of his paperwork is in the legal system. And if anyone's been listening, how many people have heard law versus legal? Good, right? Thank you. So it turns out simply the legal is the corporation, right? So the Miss Cahill, or it's written not in English, it's written in sign language. Any two words together in block capitals are not in English. And that's the signatory for this corporation. And rather than saying corporation, I'm going to say a business. So in their world, Delores Cahill or Joe Smith is a business. And in their world, Joe Smith can own business in all capital letters, which is not in English. It's in another language, and the language is SIGN, sign language. 2 letters. And just as an aside, if you look at the Bible, because the Bible is, anyway, a key document, I'll just go into it briefly, but if you look, the one used in their legal courts, that if you have 2 words, the first 2 words of each verse of the Bible in their Bibles are in capital letters. And then the rest of it is in normal English. But if you have 2 languages on a piece of paper, it makes it null and void in the law. So that every verse of the Bible has the first 2 words in all caps, which means that the Bible that you're using in court, all the pages are blank in their world. So it's a mockery.
Yeah. Good evening, I'm at Netherhayford listening to Delores Cahill. I think Professor Cahill, who is an inspiration. Her work in the field of medicine biology and tests for vaccine reactions has been groundbreaking, and she's had a lot of impediment and threats. But the effect she's had since the 80s has opened up a massive field of study, and she has planted seeds that will grow and germinate in our lifetime and beyond.
It's a multi-generational plan that if they can do that with our generation, who have been in touch with older generations who knew about freedom of travel, right? Who wouldn't put up with that, right? That if they can somehow psyop us and fear us and intimidate us, the generation under 30, by the time they're 70, they'll already have been used to masks and used to testing and used to you dying alone, right?
So here we are at Netherhayford Village Hall. Hello,
Hi.
Peter. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Keisha.
Would you like to say something, please, about the talk that we've been having this evening?
Yeah, we've organised a talk tonight on behalf of the Northamptonshire Community Assembly. We've invited Delores Cahill, Professor Delores Cahill, to come and speak tonight. She's an immunologist and has been working really, really hard on helping us with our current struggles, let's say. She's absolute dynamite, and some of her stories early on were really, really touching and upsetting. But I think after the break, she's going to be talking about what we can do to make a difference within our community.
Which of her stories touched you the most?
Well, losing her children and blaming pharmaceutical companies for this. That was the most upsetting for me. And it must be for any parent, it must be one of the most upsetting things that could ever happen to you in your life. So that was really, really touching. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I think that's more relevant when you have twins as well. To lose twins, there's a different bond than there is just having a child. So, but what's been very interesting is that the background, where she came from, what motivated her, and how she was actually able to develop credibility through work and through her studies. And she is being asked, when it's in the governmental arena, to work and help them. Unfortunately, a lot of her work is for the public's benefit, and it seems like that had a counter effect to the mainstream.
So she's involved in some legal battles at the moment, is that right?
There's a warrant out for arrest in Ireland, simply because she's standing up to tyranny. She finds it hard to travel. Her cards get shut down from time to time. They try to stop her from leaving the country, or make it very difficult for her to leave the country. Lots of tricks and lots of trickery is against it. She finds it all very amusing and quite enjoys the ride.
She's very inspirational, isn't she, what she's doing?
Very inspirational. After the break, like I say, she's going to be talking about the projects that she's working on, and we want everyone to leave today with lots of hope and with some ideas and some plans on what we're going to do next. That's where we are.
Do you have any sneak previews as to some of the projects she's involved with?
I know a few things. One of the things is looking how the 15-minute city ULEZ, is charging you to drive into a city now. We're looking, or she's looking into how to put an end to that, and going forwards, how we organise our own juries, and we'll be able to set up our own juries, and when they're breaking the law, trial by jury is a big agenda. But everything she does, it has to be lawful. It must be within the law, which is what I think people want to hear. Some people want to pull down these 5G posts. That's up to them, but she wants to do everything within the law, and she really, really knows the law. Yeah.
Legal aspect of it is that the foundation of our rights was the Bill of Rights 1689, which was not to reign in the people, it was to reign in government. And that has been lost on current generations. And the idea to bring back a trial by jury reinstates that the power is in with the people. We have the numbers, and it's a question now of how do we develop a real method of taking control of that. And I believe that she has some very good ideas, and she has some good ideas for direction for people. And we keep plugging away, we will get there.
Hello, Jose.
Hi, Kisha.
So what are you finding inspiring about Delores Cahill?
Delores has had a pretty terrifying journey, as far as I can work out, and some awful things have happened to her. But as I was just saying to you before, it's almost as though she was placed where she is now, and her story has developed, and now this is like getting towards the climax of the story. So she's amazing.
What do you think is the climax of the story?
I think the climax of the story is what is true and what is right, and the use of law, the highest law, natural law, to put everything right.
So that's what Delores is working on.
She hasn't spoken about it yet, but I think that's where she's heading. Absolutely, yeah. Trial by jury, and as I say, righting of wrongs.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Hello, I'm here in the shooting with Athenia, who's part of the NCA, who's organised this event with Delores Cahill. So, did you enjoy the second half?
I did, very much. It's obviously very good. It's given us a way forward. It's given us structure to, because we've obviously, NCA have tried for the last, I think about a year and a half now, to educate people, to bring together like-minded individuals, to bring our community forward. But we lacked that structure to put it in place, and to also have accountability like Delores has been talking about, and the restoration, how do you go forward as a community? And about a cooperative is a really good way of doing it. It gives us that formulation that we can go forward and start our restoration in Northamptonshire. It means we can start straight away. Obviously, things will have to change and develop as we go along. That's just part of the course. But at least it gives us that structure, and also then the accountability of the trial by juries. So if something does happen and there's injustice, goes against our natural laws within that community and beyond in England, we can then have culpability and we can start taking back control. We start becoming sovereign beings in our own right.